Tom Brady is easily the NFL's MVP this year. Before we deep dive into it, how about we just look at things for face value? More often than not, this should win you the MVP. He leads in essentially all volume and is top 3 and mostly top 2 for advanced statistics. Yards, touchdowns, first downs, and scoring drives, he clean sweep is first in the league. And if you look at the bottom, across the board, the Bucs offense is the most efficient in the league. This goes without mentioning that he took up 63.1% of offensive plays, whereas compared to Rodgers, he was less than half. He not only had a higher percentage of offensive plays, but he also had just more scoring drives. And if you look at the context, he had more yards traveled on those drives. Take it a step further, he had more to do with those yards. 80.3% of the yards on scoring drives came from Tom Brady throwing or rushing, whereas Rodgers was at 73.8%, which isn't bad, but it's obviously not as good. As for rush yards, either by the running back, wide receiver, or defensive penalties, Rodgers benefited more. Casual NFL fans are just going to look at touchdown to interception ratio, when in reality, that just compromises less than 8% of their throws all season. And if you want to talk about interceptions, here's just 4 clips of Brady literally having nothing to do with any of them. Hail Mary right here. Come on, what are we talking about? Yeah, that's totally on Tom. Terrible throw. Why would you throw that, man? Speaking of drops, Tom Brady's team had 32 this season, whereas Rodgers was at 13. You can see right there. Brady's up top, Rodgers is at the bottom. You tell me about that. I'm not done with the drops either. Brady led the league in dropped passes in the freaking end zone. This man literally led the league in touchdowns and dropped touchdowns. How the hell does that happen? Enough about the drops. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Via Pro Football Reference, Tom Brady completed passes at a further depth and had less yak. This is no surprise to me. Rodgers has literally benefited from yak and has been a check down king ever since 2018. People for some reason think that the attempts argument means anything. Amongst the history of the NFL, Tom Brady is the only quarterback with 670 plus attempts to be top 3 in EPA per play, DVOA, DYAR, and QBR. As you can see there, he threw 719 passes. That is literally ridiculous. And people also want to talk about stat padding. Look at this. These are attempts from the 1-yard line. Aaron Rodgers leads the entire league with 10. Tom Brady is at the bottom with 3. 6 out of the 37 touchdowns from Rodgers are from the 1-yard line. And obviously 3 of 43 of Brady's came from the 1. That is literally stat padding at its finest, but who cares, right? This honestly should just end it all right here. These are each quarterback stats versus top 10 pass defenses via Football Outsiders. Brady in every category stomps Rodgers. This literally is not a debate. Sadly, Rodgers is probably going to win because he has the highest odds. Doesn't mean he's deserving though. Brady was better this season.